Dan, as always, I'm really excited about this episode. I can't wait for us to talk about the games of the year. And I'm quite intrigued to see what you've picked.
Yeah, I know. There's so many good games to choose from this year. It's been a proper blinder. But as long as you didn't choose Mass Effect.
Yeah, imagine that.
You chose Mass Effect, didn't you?
Yeah, but I did play it this year, Dan.
Get rid of it.
Mass Effect is the best game. Okay, fine.
And Mass Effect 2.
Fine.
And 3.
Dude, what are you doing to me? All right, it's gone.
Legendary Edition on there?
Oh, mate, seriously, anything else? All right, take that off as well.
Board game?
I didn't even think you'd remember that off the list. Look, it's just, you know I love Mass Effect. And it's just like, it's your Half-Life to me, basically.
Yeah.
You've got Half-Life on your list, haven't you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Get that. Dan with a gaming flair. Pixel dreams and worlds to share. Joystick tales and button cues. Welcome to Gaming Views. Hello and welcome to the Christmas episode of Gaming Views. So Merry Christmas, Dan.
Merry Christmas, Dan.
Merry Christmas to all the listeners. Look, well, for those of you watching in I was going to say in stereo.
Hello?
I was going to say, yeah, I was saying stereo. I've had a bit of bubbly for my Christmas dinner tonight. So, we've got our Christmas jumpers on. Sorry, I'm just standing up.
Mine doesn't, mine is kind of, it's a suit.
Yes.
I've got a suit.
Yes.
I do have a Christmas jumper, but it's literally a black jumper that says Christmas jumper in white writing on it. And I didn't think that was very festive.
Well, I've got, because I know when I wear this, I end up sweating because it's quite a thick jumper. So I've got a Christmas t-shirt underneath, but we'll see if we get to that. Are you
going to defrock in front of the viewers?
Only for the paying paid subscriptions. So okay. So if you want to see that. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Actually, I want to start off housekeeping as we often always forget. Yep. If
I forget,
make sure.
You'll break it.
Yeah, please do subscribe. If you're listening to us for the first time or you stumbled across us, please do press follow, subscribe, whatever the button is on your platform of choice. As Dan, you succinctly put it, it doesn't take much effort from you, but we absolutely love it. And on that, at time of recording, we hit 100 subs on YouTube, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And
I know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but considering we've only been going just over 6 months, and on YouTube, probably less.
Yeah.
I'm chuffed. And I'm over the moon. We don't do this for the viewers, but I do love it.
No, but it's a milestone. I think it's important to shout that out. And I think pretty much the majority of the credit is down to you and your wonderful editing. So thank you for that.
It's all for us, buddy. Yeah. You never need to thank me.
Yeah, so, well, I just did. Unless you cut that out.
Fuck it.
And then if you cut that first bit out,
it'll still look really weird.
So busy week. Actually, we've got a lot to talk about. But actually, first I want to do mention, we've mentioned him a couple of times on here, Pete, my mate. I saw he put a comment on our video last week because he was a bit worried. It's going to be a story that crops up later, but about the whole memory thing in the Steam machine, because he's all in on that. And
I hope so. I hope he's saving his pennies right now.
Yeah, Valve, don't let me down, because you don't want to break that friendship up. I've got you a sale there, so don't make it extortionate. But as always,
you're on commission. Are you on commission with Valve now? Is that what's happening?
Well,
something you're not telling me.
Let's get him to buy that, and then we'll see. We'll go from there.
Yeah, fair enough. Gabe, if you're listening, keep it cheap.
Yeah, but as always, Dan, what have you been playing?
My list, I think, is relatively light because it's the two I've previously spoken about. Actually, there's a couple more, to be fair. So I finally saw credits on Hades 2. I had to send you a screenshot because it's been a marathon.
It took me a second to click at first. You sent me a screenshot and I thought, is that something we're supposed to be talking about tonight? Yeah.
No. So as my kids were getting ready for school this morning, I'd got halfway through what I knew was the final run, because something happens before the final run that makes you know you're doing the final run. And I was halfway through last night and I got the low battery warning.
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah.
I don't want to lose this. So I put it on charge as I was coming into the final level of Tartarus, and picked up this morning. The girls were getting ready for school. I was walking my youngest to school at, I don't know, about 8:45. And so about 8:30, I picked it up and for 15 minutes just went at it.
Nice.
And finished it. And then realised that take school. So I paused it, took her to school, came back, and just while I was starting work, watched the credits roll. Because there's a little bit that happens after these scenes that play out. So I'm really pleased. I think I am Hades 2'd out. It's an amazing game, a beautiful piece of work. I love it.
I'm really pleased.
I've put a lot more than I've put into many games. I could.
Yeah. No, I'm really pleased because especially last week. Sorry, you said roguelikes weren't necessarily your bag before sort of the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I think that's a great achievement. And for you, I think it's a nice bookend to fully complete that game, isn't it? Yeah, just to complete it right down to, I know there's another bit where, the fates disappear. And I misled you last week. When you said how long is a run, I thought you were meaning how long is each level bit, and it's not. It's a run containing right up to 45, 50 minutes. So it's, it's about 15 minutes per level and there's 3 levels. So just to clear that up, people think I'm an idiot or or a speed runner at Hades. I'm really not. But yeah, so that's out of the way. Still playing through Clair Obscur. I'm at the bit where you have to kill. I think I've killed the first one of the, don't know what they're called, begins with an O, but they're like the things you've got to get to make the weapon to defeat the thing. Oh yes, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I've killed the first one of those. I went after she's like I think her name's Serene, but she's like a siren, the singing one. So I've done that. Yeah, I've done that, and I'm still enjoying it, but still not in love with it, but enjoying it all the same. I've also. You very kindly gifted me a game on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
So I've started playing that, which was Second Sight that we talked about in last week's episode. Please go and watch wherever it says last week's episode because it was a goodie. So I've started playing Second Sight, which is by the guys who did Time Splitters. I'm enjoying it. I'm remembering why I don't go back to many old games, particularly as there's no controller support for Steam. Okay. So I've had to download a template for it and play it on that, but there's no invert either at all. so but I think I can change that somehow, so I'll figure that out. Also played a bit more Dark Sector. Then I played this evening while we were waiting to start. I played about an hour and a half and I said I was going to do it, Titanfall 2, and it's such a good game, Dan. It's such, and I'm playing it and I'm just like, why didn't you continue making this series? Even the opening hour or so is just phenomenal. It's such a good single player campaign. So played that. And then I also played and we're going to talk about it a bit later, but I played the Pragmata demo.
Okay.
And I'm going to regret saying this. I really fucking enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
It was really good. Yeah, and I really didn't think I would, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm going to have to buy it because I thought I'd be really frustrated by the mini game that you have to do to make defeating the enemies easier. But actually, it's really fun, and it really does. It scratches that puzzle itch while still trying to be a shooter. And I didn't think that they would make it, but goddamn you, Capcom, you've made it work. I'm enjoying it. So I finished the demo. It's 15 minutes. It's not very long. So you should give it a go if you can. I don't think I'm not sure how well it will run on the Steam Deck, but you could give it a go.
See, I was going to say, that's the interesting thing. So I downloaded it and apparently it is playable, but when I was launching it, I kept getting errors.
Right.
So I might try download it again. I don't know if I did it that first night and I don't know, but it just didn't seem to work. So I'll have another look at it.
If not, it's 15 minutes. You come around and I've gone on a PC.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's it. Sorry, it was a whistle stop because I realise I go on far too much about the games that I play. I'm trying to be more succinct, but that's what I've been playing so far. But I am now going, what am I going to play next then? I'm like, Hades 2'd out.
You need a Christmas game.
I'm still going to play as I do. Yeah, I need my... It was going to be Ghost of Yotai, and
I've got something that might tempt you.
Oh, so okay. Dan's got some tempting things.
Yeah, I might tempt you. So, but I'll talk about that one when I get to it. My week's...
what have you been playing then, buddy?
My week's been a bit of a funny week. So I completed the Silent Hill 2 remake, and again, great game. It was nice to complete that off. I want a new game plus it at some point. I think I got the good ending. Although none of them are particularly, I don't think there's any good ending in Silent Hill.
Is anything ever good come out of Silent Hill? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, but again, they did such a good, we were talking about remakes, remasters, etc. last week. And great job on that. I then started to play, well, actually, I think I mentioned it last week. I've still been playing New Super Lucky's Tale as my game on the side. My
bit on the side.
Yeah, my bit on the side, a bit of fun. But then when I completed Silent Hill, I thought I need a new game, and I've been really looking forward to getting into Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get into it. Now, I enjoyed playing what I did. It controls well, it's funny, but I think what it was, I was getting a lot of interruptions while I was playing it. It's my wife, but I was trying to play that, and I was getting, and
I'll be having words with her, mate, don't worry. I'll pick it up with her.
And the thing is, I'm very odd. I need to get stuck into a game, and because that introduction was so interrupted, I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to try. What I'll do is maybe come back to it in a few weeks' time and play something else. So I put that aside. Yeah. And what I did pick up, and this is the one I was going to say to you, I might tempt you with, was the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. Because
I'm not sure I can cope with any more turn-based combat there.
Well, this is what I was going to say to you. It gives you an option of playing it in the classic mode, which is turn-based, or the non-classic, which hasn't got a name.
Fighty.
Yeah, which is action. It's real-time sort of fighting.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. So you've got.
I might do it because I've always wanted to go through the story again of Final Fantasy VII, because I did play it on. I never finished it, but I did play it on the PlayStation, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So maybe I will then. Maybe remake Integrate.
Silent
Hill 7 remake Lucasade.
Extreme edition. Final Fantasy VII remake Integrate. Yeah, I'm about 2 chapters in, so I'm quite early on. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck, but hooked up to the TV. And I saw that you had two difficulty modes when you start off. So you've got easy and easy classic, normal and normal classic. And I thought, what's that? So I quickly looked up, and basically the non-classic is just like an action RPG.
Fighty.
Yeah.
How do the numbers work then? If you just, I'll have to give it a go.
I think you just level up. It's I'm still quite early on. I've not really paid too much attention, but you level up. You get the extra weapons. But it's. I just thought it might be of interest to you.
I appreciate that, mate. I may well give that a go.
And I've started playing another game called Sir Whoopass Immortal Death.
Is this for a review I'm not aware of? Or is this you just plucked one out of the air and just gone, I'm going to play Sir Whoopass?
No, it's kind of like, is it like an action RPG? It's a third person action game where you're wandering around.
Are you making up games again?
No. It's very...
roundabout.
Yeah. It's one of those... It's a very bizarre humour game. It's one of those ones like the loading screen will say stuff like, this is a loading screen, this lie is a cake, things like that. No, you're still looking at a loading screen. And there's a narrator who talks about it. It's very... Whether it is British rain, I don't know, but it's kind of got that British humour in it.
And it's what is it? A third person, first person?
Yeah, third person like action games. You go along just sort of clobbering enemies, picking up missions, like objectives. Like the first one is you've got. Sorry, I'm laughing because you come across like this ghost, and she wants you to resurrect her. So you've got to find a bit of bacon, which you get by killing a pig, and
obviously
an egg by killing a chicken. And a cappuccino, which I'm not even going to describe on here, but you need to make a cappuccino.
Is it coffee that goes through a cat?
Well, it's a coffee, I think that's made with a cat. But it's all cartoony. And
is it Monty Python-esque? Is that the type of thing we're going for? Right.
It's medieval in style, and like you go when you like resurrect her, it's like you'll say, how are you feeling? She goes, well, I'm not brilliant because I've been dead for 8, whatever. And she gets resurrected with like a cast on her leg for some reason. But it's that kind of sort of obviously sort of cliched humour and like,
right. Like where did you dig this up from?
It's in the Steam library, I think. To be honest, It's on the Xbox. And I was looking at it ages ago, but I think, one of the GCP boys have got it. So I picked it up. But it is on the Xbox. And I like that sort of... It's kind of... I guess it's a much lower budget Fable. That's how I would describe it, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of that third-person action game where you're picking up missions, medieval, that kind of silly humour, over-the-top humour, like your energy is... This is making me sound crazy. Your energy potions are like little gnomes that are running around. You pick them up and you use them somehow.
I don't even want to imagine how you're going to use them.
But yeah, so we're past Immortal Death, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll find a video for it if it exists.
Yeah, and I wanted to try, like I said, the Pragmata demo, so I will download that again because we'll come on to that. But
it's really good. It's not even as annoying as I thought it was going to be with the fake plastic Megana-like on your back. It's not as it's okay. You know, it's not annoying and frustrating and didn't piss me off. And he's your atypical, are you okay up there kind of guy. But I was all right with that as well because you expect that from Capcom. So yeah, I mean, it might turn out to be a pretty good game. So I enjoyed what I played of it. Excellent.
Oh, and before we move on to news stories, I forgot to say to plug us a bit more. So you know, if you're not listening to them, and you should be anyway, if you listen to the Game Club pod, you'll hear me and Dan derail a couple of their Podmas episodes.
Oh my God, we did. Yeah, it was so much fun, man. And thank you, Joe, for organising that because it was awesome.
So this episode goes out the 23rd. So I think they were trying to get it out on the 19th and 20th. Yeah, Dan and I joined their D&D Podmas episodes.
Proper Dungeons and Dragons session. Well, proper-ish.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever invite me back, Dan. I really don't.
well, and also I need to send it to you actually. Joey sent me a clip today where, you know, like Spotify will do subtitles.
Yeah. And
I say to Alex, this will make context, listeners, if you watch that, listen to that episode, but Alex was going to pick me up and throw me down a hill. And
he was.
I said, can I hug you? I thought, can I hug him to make it easier? And Spotify thought I asked him something a lot worse that I wanted to do to him. Let's just say that. So
that probably came up in one of the episodes anyway.
Yeah. So check out the D&D Podmas to hear Dan and I, like I said, pretty much ruin and derail their campaign.
Yeah, I genuinely forgot we were being recorded for half of it. So some of the stuff I might have said, I hope they've cut because I could be in a lot of trouble.
And tomorrow, I think it is, you can hear me on the Middle Age podcast talking about Home Alone. It's the 35th anniversary. And they got me on to talk about, Home Alone.
Didn't feel old.
Yeah. So
I do now.
Yeah, so just, it's a chance to hear us do things that aren't necessarily this, which is always fun, isn't it? So
mucho fun.
Right. So, Dan, news. There's a fair bit of news I want to talk about around our main thing of Game of the Year, but we can hit that as we get to them. There's a couple of news stories I wanted to talk about. I'm actually, the first one on the list I'm going to get rid of, actually. Editorial decision.
Gone.
Yep, editorial decision. And I think all my stories actually this week come from PC Gamer, so thank you to the team there. But it was this was a really random one I saw, but it made me think, you know, we've spoken about credit, and especially in our AI episode, we're talking about, you know, accountability and not accountability, but credit, you know, for like voice actors, etc. And this was about the New Vegas. So Fallout New Vegas lead writer points out that whilst Fallout Season 2, the Amazon show, is going to be all about New Vegas, there's no credit for him or his team. There's no residuals. They get nothing from it, even though it's based on it. And that got me thinking, I'm like, it feels like, yes, they should do, but then the TV show is something completely different, but then it is using a world that they've created. But I guess Bethesda have probably got a deal. They probably don't want to make assumptions, but they'll probably give the license.
It seems to happen quite a lot in media, in lots of media. Yeah, I tell you where you see it a lot. Marvel are brilliant at this. They will use and abuse characters from across the spectrum, and very often either completely disregard the creator or the creative team behind what they've done, or they will shortchange them. You know, notoriously, I think they paid someone pittance for, it might have even been Thanos' creator, for, you know, what was arguably the best run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, so It seems to happen quite a lot. So yeah, it's very disappointing if that is true, because I can't remember the name of the studio. It wasn't Black Isle, was it? It was who did New Vegas.
No, wasn't it? It was Obsidian, wasn't it?
Yeah, Obsidian. Yeah, yeah.
If we're slightly wrong, someone will pick us up. Don't worry, Dan.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. Comments. That's what they're there for. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be tragic if they have done that and not, particularly if the settings, and from what I understand, the settings and what I've heard and read, I haven't watched it yet, but read about it is very much that it is, almost like New Vegas has jumped, for want of a better word, off the page onto the screen. I know it's not on the page, but
yeah.
So yeah, it would be massively disappointing, but not surprising. I mean, it's fucking Amazon. I mean, you talk about AI. You saw what they did when they had to pull down the recaps that they'd done that were generated by AI because they were spouting absolute bollocks about what had happened in the previous seasons.
Yeah.
So they not just for Fallout, but for other things. So yeah, welcome to the world of AI, people.
Yeah.
Where it gets everything wrong.
Just on a side note as well, I had another funny story I forgot to say about AI. So I remember, oh god, this is when I was doing my other podcast, Casting Views. I had a movie collaboration. The Bigger Movie Pod came on, and I picked an awful film because I think the once or twice I was on their show, they picked really bad films for me to watch. So I picked an equally bad film. It was on Netflix. I think it was called something like Open House. Anyway, it was a horror. And at the time I thought, right, just sort of put into ChatGPT, can you give me an overview of this film just to give me a basis of it? And it started off fine. But as it went into the ending, it was describing a completely different film. It had nothing to do with the film I was after. And I was thinking, if I had relied on that, you shouldn't do, but it's just how bizarre how it totally... It's like it made its own film up.
Yeah. Do you know where else it did that? So when we first started doing our reviews, for inspiration, I was asking, it's probably ChatGPT or Gemini or something, can you describe this? How would you describe this game? Right. And I think it was, what was that god awful horror game that I played? I can't remember what it's called, but I think it was that one. Again, started off kind of fairly in the ballpark, and then you're like, hang on a minute, you're describing a fun platformer. What? Yeah. Where have you moved from this dark and it was like a really random jump from one thing to another. So yeah, don't trust it, people.
Yeah, no, don't. And just I just found this headline interesting, and just credit to the end of this article. So they spoke to the lead writer of Fallout New Vegas, John Gonzalez, and they've got some quotes from him. And at the end, it says, he says, "I'm going to be fascinated to see how New Vegas is interpreted in the second season. Obviously, I'll be watching that with great interest." But the author of this article, final line, "but his accountant presumably won't," which I felt funny.
That's him.
The next,
but thanks for New Vegas.
Absolutely,
John. Yeah.
Because I actually, I think that was the first Fallout game I really enjoyed. So I'd played Fallout 3, and I like that. But there was something about New Vegas, wasn't there? There was just something a little bit more.
It hit different, and I really enjoyed it.
I think
really enjoyed it.
Fallout 3 was quite bleak in its outlook in terms of the colours, and New Vegas was more in the desert, wasn't it? You had those the Roman legion kind of army, that sort of thing, and some more bizarre characters, didn't you?
Who are in season 2. Okay. I've seen the images of it and stuff. So this is what I mean. I think they are lifting some stuff directly from it. So
okay.
Other flippers.
I had another couple of quick stories. I know you'd bought one.
Mine's a follow through, Dan. It's fine. Follow through.
Be careful with that.
It could be a follow through. Depends how it lands.
Our favourite game, should I say? Well, one of the.
It's not my favourite game. Are you making shit up?
People like to complain about now is what I was going to say.
Sorry. It's our favourite game.
Black Ops 7, Call of Duty. So basically, there's been a lot of news about Black Ops for a number of reasons. But yeah, after Black Ops 7's week launch, Call of Duty will no longer do back-to-back releases in the same series. And again, this was something that people found interesting because, you had Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, whereas normally it would alternate between Modern Warfare or something. Yeah, and it feels like an odd decision because we mentioned, all right, you get a COD game every year, but we talked about games needing to breathe a bit, and at least if it's every other year, it's got that room to breathe. But yeah, they chose this year to do back to back, and apparently, yeah, they've realised that's probably not the way to do it. So we're going to address that.
It was originally split between Sledgehammer and Ravensoft, right?
Yeah,
that was the split. It was one would develop. I think Sledgehammer was doing Modern Warfare kind of type, more modern series, and then Ravensoft were doing the Black Ops type style stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I have to say, fucking good decision, because Black Ops 7. What I've seen of it, in fairness, I haven't played it, but I'm frustrated at how they've integrated, the multiplayer element into the single player stuff, because I always enjoyed the kind of bombastic nature of the single player campaigns of Call of Duty. So, good call if they did. But I remember another studio that did this to improve quality of their output and didn't really have an effect. That was Assassin's Creed. Like, we're not going to throw them out every year anymore. I think it was after the one with the twins in London. And they said, we're not going to do that anymore. And then, in fairness, they've come up with a couple of crackers since then, but it's still the same old shit. Well, they climb up a tower, spot some stuff.
Well, they did
go and do it.
They did put it to rest for a bit, didn't you? And then you got like Origins, Valhalla, and I can't remember the other one, Odyssey.
Shadows.
Yeah,
Odyssey.
So that was good when they put it out, but it feels like now they're starting to get back into that yearly cycle.
Yeah.
They have said, and when I say they, I just want to see who is talking to.
Activision, Microsoft, one of them.
But yeah, in this article, they say basically the repetition has created a strong sense of fatigue among parts of the player base, which Activision cited as a factor of today's decision. And they're saying we will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops games. The reasons are many, but the main one is to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. Now, what I would say is I think there's probably a sense of fatigue in the yearly releases. We've just said it, and I don't think it matters if it's a Modern Warfare or a Black Ops game. I think you're going to get the same campaign. You're going to get the same multiplayer. I just think fatigue is real in gaming, right? And I think we're hitting that.
I don't disagree that it's fatigue. I would argue that I think they've got the sentiment wrong. I think they've gone, it didn't do as well. It was a much weaker launch, but, the player base are fatigued. Are they? Or do they just know when something's absolutely shit and go, I don't really want to buy it. Thanks. I don't really want to play it. So, rather than acknowledging that you've put out a bad product, blame the consumer. Feels like a really shitty path to take.
Yeah.
It's their fault for not liking it. No, it's your fault for putting out a crappy product.
Yeah. Well, COD for me is like FIFA. I'm not a hardcore multiplayer sort of participant. I can wait a year to get the next FIFA because ultimately it's just the latest teams, right? They might have added some fancy new tech engine, emotion-driven tactical engine that makes your kicks sharper and each blade of grass more defined. But it's the same game. It's the same game.
You work for them. I didn't work for them, don't you?
No. And
Dad's now copywriter for them.
And Call of Duty, look, it's the same, right? And especially now, I think with Game Pass, where you can dip into it, but take Game Pass out of it, you're getting the same game ultimately each year, aren't you? It's odd. It may be every few years you get a really standout game, but I think the previous one, was it Modern Warfare 3? The campaign I didn't like. I didn't get on with it. And the multiplayer you can play for a couple of years. You don't need to have the latest one.
No, but you can't even, they can't even argue that it's fatigue around, having an FPS or having a grounded FPS or whatever, because look what Battlefield 6 just done. It's like the people I've spoken to or listened to when around podcasts around gaming are like, I played Black Ops 7 multiplayer. It was fine, but I went back to Battlefield, and it was like so there isn't, people haven't got a problem jumping online and playing a game with their mates. They've got a problem when it's not
poor
done well,
poor production. Yeah. Like you said, I absolutely love the Assassin's Creed, but when you play that and then you've got a Far Cry come out the same year and they're effectively the same game, right?
One's in first person, one's in third person. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
but the same thing.
Yes, and then you probably get, and we'll come on to that after, and it's separate because I love them as well, but like a Tomb Raider game, which was doing the same things. You just, and when you're just seeing the same thing coming out from the same company year after year, it's like you said, it's tiredness of poor development, I guess, and that's not a slight on the developers.
I think they got lazy. No, it's not the developers, it's the people at the top pushing it, because it's very telling that this was the first one that was pushed out by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And why the fuck did we have a Black Ops 7 straight after a Black Ops 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the lazy argument is, well, it's continuation of the story. Well, yeah, but so was 6 from 5. And,
and,
you know, but you didn't do that year after year. No, it feels like greed. I saw, you know, 6 did well. Yeah. What do we do? Quick, let's make 7. What do we do with 7? Oh, no, fuck it, just make it a bit better. Because the thing was, for me, and we've said it before, the frustrating thing was the trailer looked like a brilliant game.
Yeah.
I didn't get a brilliant game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you know, the trailer looked phenomenal, and then you went, oh, it's Black Ops. Well, and I was like, oh, no, man.
The whole thing about trailers and what you see in them might come up in later on. And actually, I think there's an episode in that.
There is. All day long.
Yeah.
Kill zone. Yeah, keep going.
My next story, and because there's another one I want to find quickly that I remember seeing today, but we're going to come back to this story of RAM and AI.
Every week.
Yeah. And look, this isn't to depress people, but I found a story which I found funny in terms of when you see the headline, but it's RAM is so expensive, Samsung won't even sell it to Samsung. And basically, bottom line is, you know, as most people probably know, companies are often then divided into subdivisions, aren't they? So it might be like Samsung TVs, mobile, etc. So I think the Samsung phone division put in their regular order for their new phones coming out, and Samsung head, the head of Samsung, or, you know, the parent company, refused their order. They're not selling RAM to themselves. And you've got to look at yourself now and think there's something wrong with that, right?
Oh, all day long. But I think I might have the answer for that in my news story, Dan.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's hear that then.
So as of the end of November and a recent price rise, Samsung, this is according to a Techo Voice, which is a Taiwanese tech news site. Samsung ramped up their contract price of DDR5 chips from $9 for 2 gig of DDR5. Mm. So this is for if you're buying a 16 gig per 2 gig to $19.50. So more than doubling the price of their RAM.
Yeah.
So no wonder they wouldn't buy it from themselves, because they themselves had just doubled the price of it.
It's incredible, isn't it?
And that was it. But to imagine that in any other context, right? I'm not going to talk about eggs in the United States, but imagine you go and buy a loaf of bread, right, for £1.50 down the shops, and you go back the following day and it's now £3. Right? Do you know what I mean? Or you buy a Steam Deck for 300 quid, and then the next day it's 600. It's to double the price of something, and particularly something like this, to the point where I think there's no sign of this letting up, and many manufacturers are now saying you won't be able to purchase laptops, particularly with more than an 8 gig setup, because of they're trying to keep the cost as low as possible.
Yeah. Well, so you're going to see one or two things, aren't you? Either prices rise, or you're going to see laptops probably remain the same, if not go up in price, but with lesser specification.
With less.
But I would actually say, I like your analogy, but I would say it's even worse than that. It's like going and seeing my loaf of bread is more expensive, but because producers are sending all their flour to a big bakery somewhere else that's making bread for fun somewhere else. Yeah.
it's making AI.
Yeah, because we've got inflation and cost of living crisis. You know, prices go up, but it's like the Steam Deck goes up because Valve are sending Steam Decks to the AI machine. It's bizarre, but you know, we'll probably in a couple of weeks' time talk about what we want to see in the new year. But I really hope that it doesn't cause this industry. It won't cause the industry to eat itself as such. But like I said, you know, my mate Pete won't be the only person who's probably wants to dip their toes into PC gaming with the Steam machine. And if they can't get it, or people are going to be priced out of just standard laptops now, maybe it's going to be an interesting time in the gaming and consoles. We already know Microsoft are struggling a bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, just linked to this article was also, so the article was actually on Tech Radar, but so high-end DDR5 kits, this is just a little bit. So we're talking 192 gigs, so that's 4 48 gig modules, now cost more than an NVIDIA RTX 5090 card. So a GPU, you know, the really super expensive GPU cards, right? Yeah. So for the RAM, right, for that 192 gig DDR5 kit, $2,225 for 192 gig of RAM.
Jeez.
And it just for completeness, it's $1,999 for the NVIDIA card.
Crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's also reminded me, I saw on Twitter this week, on X this week, she had ordered RAM from a seller on Amazon.
Yeah.
And she got a message saying, sorry, the seller has cancelled your order. And it's probably because they can then put the price up and sell it elsewhere. So we're now seeing people's orders who are trying to get them in now before the price rise.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
It's the Airbnb of technology.
Yeah.
I'm going to cancel it. Sorry, there's no reason, but I've got someone wants it more.
Oh dear. Yeah, we had a similar thing. There's all sorts of commotion around it now. But do you remember when the Eurovision Song Contest was going to be held in this country? It was in Liverpool. People were having their Airbnbs and their rooms cancelled. You know, they booked it for like 50 quid and then it was going back online for like £1,000 or something. And it's like, it's just.
Yeah. Do you know what, Dan? All this just proves we're living in the worst timeline. But we've got it wrong. Somewhere we spurred off on a terrible timeline.
Yeah.
RAM costs too much. Everything costs too much.
Whoever's in
Steam Machine isn't out. Half-Life 3 wasn't announced at the Game Awards. There's another timeline where all these things went right.
I did see an analyst says it won't go away, this rumour that Half-Life 3 will be a launch title with the Steam Machine. I'm just leaving you with that.
Fucking Dan, just ignore them, man. Just they're like Jehovah's Witnesses banging on your door. Just ignore them. Go away.
Just another quick story before we go on to the main meat and veg of this episode was I saw it today, I think. Following Amazon's decision to gut its video game division in October as part of 14,000 job cuts across the company, Ubisoft, I think today or yesterday, announced the acquisition of one of its studios, Amazon Games Montreal, which currently works on MOBA, March of the Giants. So,
good.
Yeah, and I
love MOBA games.
That's from Eurogamer. But again, it's just this weird, we've seen the whole Saudi Arabia takeover of EA, now Amazon, who was trying to get into gaming. And they were
going to be bigger than Steam. They were trying to compete with Steam and nobody tell you. No one noticed.
Nobody told Steam or them, I think. So did you have any other news stories or?
No, it's bad enough, Dan. I don't want to bring it down anymore. Let's move on to something happier.
Well, you say happier, but the amount of discourse that has come out of this. So last week we saw Game of the Year. So do you want to?
Before you start on Game Awards, can I just say I must be fucking psychic because I said two things very clearly last week in our podcast. One, Half-Life 3 was not going to be announced, right? And all right, you didn't have to be a complete, But the other thing I said was, Clair Obscur will fucking win everything.
All right, look, let's talk about this now then, right? Yes, so, look, it's going to be over a week old by the time this goes out. Yes, Clair...
Do you want to go through the categories it didn't win, Dan? Because that might be quicker.
Yeah, best sports game.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
For that, maybe for the parkour bit at the beach.
For the beach games, damn it, yeah. Yes, look, it was. It had the most. Yeah, it had the most nominations, didn't it, of any game ever? I think 11, and it won nine of them. Now, what I do want to say, look, we'll jump ahead a little bit. Kind of like the toxicity I've seen come out afterwards. And do you remember I said to you, if it wasn't last week, it was a week before. I said I worry that if it wins, there's going to be a massive backlash against it because and I've been proven right. I mean, it's almost like. I can only liken this to football, soccer for our American friends, in the sense of these are video games, right? And look, it shows that people love video games and got passion, and that's great. But the kind of abuse and stuff being thrown around online because, I don't know, it was mainly Kingdom Come Deliverance didn't win. It's just crazy. These are video games, people. Let's enjoy them.
This is why we can't have nice things, Dan.
Honestly, it isn't. Now, I know the Kingdom Come Deliverance social team put out a couple of tweets that were like, and I'm sure that was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but Yeah, I've just seen so much abuse thrown in and around people supporting the game and the game itself, basically saying the game isn't all that. And it's like, I was be interested to see your take on what that.
I wonder how many of those people played it who said it wasn't all that. Because I sit in maybe a little bit of a niche group where I'm not absolutely in love with it, but I don't absolutely hate it. And actually it does some things really well that I traditionally wouldn't enjoy playing a game for, notably the combat, notably parrying, right? Which is, I'll be honest, is my biggest failure. And, one of the reasons I hate Dark Souls and Sekiro and games like that is because I cannot do it for toffee. This game, I think the window is broad enough for even idiots like me to be able to attempt and succeed sometimes. And I think the beauty of how they've done it is you don't have to, you can just power your way through it. You don't have to do it and be brilliant at it. But when it pays off, there's a little bit of, a rush. You get a little bit, I did well then. It makes you want to continue doing it. So I do think there are some things it does really well. The thing that and maybe I'm not far into it, so I will give it a chance. The thing I'm not as sold on, and I love the Belle Epoque, artistry and the beauty of the world and stuff, but I still not sold on the story. Every time something happens, I'm just going, what the fuck? What? I don't get it. And I've been watching it. I've even put my phone down at points, but it just, no, I have been watching it. I have been paying attention, but I don't know. We said we'd do a spoiler episode where we'll get into detail, and I don't want to do that now because there's a lot of what it has done is generated a lot of people going into the game as a result of the Game Awards. Yeah. So there's been a lot of interest kicked up. So there will be a lot of people playing it, and some people may watch this, and I don't want to spoil it for them. So we will do something in the new year that's specifically around that, and we'll put spoiler warnings all over the place. But there's some things that it's done that have frustrated me story-wise, and I've just gone, but you didn't have to do that. You could have done this, and I think it would have been more balanced. But yeah, I like it. I like what they've done with it. I don't begrudge it winning Game of the Year, to be honest. I think, yes, Hades, but I've played it and loved it and beaten it. So that was a no-brainer for me, whereas I haven't done the same. But I fell in love with Hades to the point where I wanted to go through it. Clair Obscur, I'm kind of picking it up every now and again when I can be bothered, which is different. So, but it's a personal thing. Did it need to win every fucking category, including indie?
Well,
probably not.
We'll come on to it, I think, as we go through them. But yeah, I pick up on a few things you've said. Yes, absolutely. People are playing it. So the nice thing I've seen is a couple of people saying the game isn't all that, but they're going to play it because they never had done. And then they start playing it and they've come back and said, look, I apologise. This is a good game.
Right.
So it has done that. So if it's driven people to try it, brilliant. We said last week, one person's Clair Obscur is another person's Hades, right? So,
agreed.
And no game is ever going to be 100% perfect. But for me, like Hollow Knight Silksong, I'm probably not going to play it because I value my sanity.
Don't.
And I'm not that good. However,
30 minutes killed me.
However, I can look at it and appreciate that it's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
The devs did a brilliant thing at the price they released it because they weren't looking for a profit as such, or a massive profit. But do I think Clair Obscur should win Game of the Year? Absolutely. And, all these other things, I think I've said before, and we won't go into it now, but it does, for me, each component has been done brilliantly. So the fact it won Game of the Year, I don't think is a surprise. I'm just I shouldn't be disappointed, I guess, but it's quite amazing to see, like I said, the outrage that's come out. And I remember saying to you, so I think their next game, I wonder if they'll see a backlash when they release it.
I'm not surprised at the backlash. I think that would have happened at anything swept the boards because the gamer community, unfortunately, can be quite toxic. And that's the downside of it. And with the advent of social media, fucking keyboard warriors are everywhere. You put anything out. We get it. We get it on TikTok posts. We get it on YouTube
two
posts.
Mates doing a podcast.
Do you know what I mean? So people, any opportunity they get to kind of spike someone because I can and I'm anonymous. You're just like, and that's why my response is always, you do you, bruv. If that's the way you feel, if that's how you want, it's 2 + 2 is 5, whatever. I don't really give a shit because you're an idiot.
What?
And I can't be bothered to tell you if you don't already know.
What I want to say is we'll start with Game of the Year. And
go for it.
Let's do the awards and then we'll do the announcements. But two funny moments that I caught from it. There was, did you see I think she was the voice actress in Ghost of Yotei when she was up for an award, was just sitting there eating her popcorn. You know, when you've got the pictures on the screen, she was sitting there and loving it. And I love that. And do you see?
I will, hands up. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
I watched all the trailers and bits and pieces, but I didn't watch the Full Awards thing. There's only so much Jeff Keighley I can take, I'm afraid.
No, well, I was.
He says wearing a suit jacket.
Yeah, well, because it was my turn to host this, I thought I better watch it. But you've got like, you had like Jennifer.
What, the Game Awards?
No, next year. That's the surprise.
Cool.
Yeah, well, if you'd have seen it, if you'd have watched it, you'd have seen it.
They announced it.
You had I can't remember her name, but you had like Jennifer English, and you got the actress in the square next to her, and she's just munching from a bucket of popcorn, and it was brilliant. And you also had Hideo Kojima
he doesn't pop up very often at these things, does he?
But I can't remember if it was Game of the Year or another one, but it was a Clair Obscur one, and you just see him not roll his eyes, but you just see his eyes move like he's really annoyed, and it's like the camera, of course, caught him on that moment.
Is it up against Death Stranding too?
Well, yeah. Right. So, Game of the Year. Let's start there. Right. We've said it. So, and when we go through these, let's talk or call anything else. So you got Clair Obscur 1, and it was up against Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2.
Never going to win.
No.
Donkey Kong Bonanza was I don't know if that was a token throw, but it was never in with a shot of winning.
No, I'd heard good things about it, but yeah.
I've played it, so I can comment on it. It's okay. It's a reskinned Mario game with Donkey Kong, and that's fine. All right, and the destructible environments are fine. But personally, I played it for about 3 hours and went, every level's the fucking same. Like nothing was doing anything mechanically to make me go, I've got to play through this and win it. And I think some Mario games like that as well. But that's maybe again, it's a very personal thing, right? So I could never have seen that. The others, when I look through them, I go, yes. Why the fuck is Donkey Kong on that? I don't understand. That, for me, was the first time I saw that list, I was like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, the other ones were Hades 2, which you know about, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, what I would say is, obviously, you've said that about Donkey Kong Bonanza, but we should just celebrate the fact that there were some really great games in there. It was, it's not one stood out above the others. I think they were all...
Honestly, I do not know how they shortlisted those 6 games this year. This year's been insane in a brilliant way for gaming. There's been so many good games. I think when we get to our list, I know for a fact only one of my games is in that Game of the Year list because there's so many other brilliant, amazing games that came out. And I think we were blessed this year. And I hope next year, I think we continue into next year if we can afford the RAM to play them.
If people don't come, like Microsoft, come and take the RAM out your machine because it turns out you only own a license for it. You don't own the RAM in your machine.
You don't own the RAM. You're subscribing to it, Dan.
Shouldn't give them ideas. So look, Clair Obscur 1, I haven't got an issue with that. And it's...
I don't either. As much as
but it's a strong field.
Out of those, and admittedly, I only played half-hour Hollow Knight. I'd never played Kingdom Come, never played Death Stranding, so it'd be unfair of me to comment. But out of the ones I have played, it would definitely, if I was on that panel, I'd have voted for Hades 2. But I also get it's a sequel, right? So it's almost been there, done that with Hades. Fine, get that. But I think it's a stronger game. But then, like I said, this is my kind of game, so... But I don't begrudge Clair Obscur winning it. I think it was a worthy winner if that is the case.
Then we start getting into some of the more, not objectionable ones, but ones you could debate a little bit more. So best narrative. So the field was the Clair Obscur 1, but the rest of the games were Death Stranding 2 on the beach, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silent Hill F. Anything from you on that category?
I mean, from what I understand about Death Stranding 2 and... I'm going to use the term loosely, story or narrative. The only way you could possibly have even voted for that is if you have an embolism beforehand, because it's apparently mind-melting, the story in Death Stranding. So, and maybe there's something to that. Maybe narrative implies weaving together of multiple different strands to make a cohesive story. Or maybe it wasn't cohesive, I don't know. But Ghost of Yotei, come back to me in March and I'll let you know. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I don't think I'll ever be able to tell you. Although I can tell you that medieval England apparently was a bit shit. So, and then Silent Hill F. Go and ask the guys over at Game Club.
Yeah, I know they've done an episode on it and they enjoyed it. And to me, it's interesting, Death Stranding 2, because as someone who's recently played the first one, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, you make a really good point that it's a bizarre game, like a lot of his games are. The storyline can be out there. And also, and look, that's more on how the player plays it, but you can play that game for a long time and not have any story happen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so does it need to be tightly woven? I don't know. I took your point earlier, what you said about the story not having grabbed you on Clair Obscur, but for me it really did. And I'm hoping when you get to the third act, if you don't change your mind, then it's just not a story for you.
And that might be it, but I'm open-minded. I'll see.
But yeah, but again, I think a lot of people were sort of up in arms in that. I think Ghost of Yotai and Kingdom Come Deliverance, well, even Death Stranding, there was a lot of people. So again, another strong field. Let's celebrate the fact that we've got some great narrative-driven games.
Totally.
Best art direction was also one that, sort of threw a lot of people up. So we've got Clair Obscur was the winner, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotai, and Hades 2. But ultimately, Clair Obscur won. And again, just for you comment, I saw people saying it's a shit-looking game. And then people saying it's actually stunning. It's almost like every scene in one area was like a painting. It's like, I think whatever you say about it, it's not a shit looking game. You might not like it as much as, say, Ghost of Yotai, but yeah, do you have any view on this?
The thing is, all these categories, like if you take art direction, there will be a set of criteria they're judged against. And because we don't know what that criteria is, it's very difficult to say. Because again, if you put the two that I played, Clair Obscura and Hades together, I would say from an art direction, my interpretation of an art direction, Clair Obscura would win. Hades 2 is great. It's a beautiful game. It plays really well. And the way it's put together is great. But if you're talking about direction of the artistry of it, in terms of what I would call the intersections between gameplay, it's all quite repetitive in terms of what you do. Not the narrative that sits on top of it, but because that's interwoven and beautifully done. But just the way it plays out, you're kind of going, yeah, but I've seen this. Because it's the same static pictures that just pop up with some text and great voice acting sometimes, 90% of the time. And then there's Zagreus. So from an art direction perspective, Clair Obscur all day long. But, Hades 2, whilst pretty and done well, just feels a bit repetitive in that arena.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's...
Although stunning, again, looks like a painting on a page, to be fair as well.
And again, from everything I've seen, all those games, you wouldn't say look terrible on a screen, right? They're all good.
Ghost of Yotai apparently is just... people have called it, and again, I need to play it, but people have said it almost feels like Ghost of Tsushima was a prototype, right. And now they've kind of learned how to handle that engine. Ghost of Yotai is just leagues ahead and just looks absolutely stunning from every angle. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into it. And I haven't even got a PS5 Pro. So I'm really hoping it does live up to what people have said, because I really loved Ghost of Tsushima. It's a great game and stunning, so.
I've got it, not played it yet. There's Tsushima, that is.
Yeah, you should. It's a brilliant game.
Next up is a best game direction, which, always feels a weird one. But this is one category where we've finally got a different game in. So we've got Clair Obscur, the winner, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotai, Hades 2, and a game that I think has probably not fared well because people have forgotten it or maybe not played as much, but Split Fiction.
When I saw that list announced, I thought that game should have won all day long. And that's just from the 12 or so hours that we've put into it.
Yeah.
Because having to create that game and direct that game in the way that it plays is mind-blowing against any other thing in that category. And I would argue Clair Obscur as well. Because, yes, Clair Obscur is beautiful and it's directed well and, the vision is obviously clearly laid out. But people who have played Split Fiction will know what I'm talking about. It is incredible. It blows my mind thinking about how they put those sections together and the pure joy that you and I got out just out of the first couple of levels going, this is mad. It's mad in a brilliant way. Yeah. So it's a shame that didn't win.
And almost some people controversial, but why it wasn't in Game of the Year? Because, and this is what I'm saying, did it hit enough people because you had to have the two people playing it? All I know is, like you said, the 10 or so hours we've played is some of the most fun I've had in gaming for a long time.
Totally. I mean, and you think of the number of games that are actually sit in that genre or category, they're very few. Yeah. And all the ones that have been, a lot of them by the same studio, have all been brilliant.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I just didn't feel, that would have been their time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, you've worked so hard and done such an amazing job on such a brilliant game. Just give them something.
Yeah. Yeah. But, again, Clair Obscur, having said all that, I can see why they've won it. It is a well-directed game, well-made game. It's, when you complete it, I don't think you'd have a complaint. It's just, again, it's got some other great games in there as competition. That's what it is.
I'll tell you, I'm going to make a prediction now. So next year in this category, I think that what's going to go in and what possibly might win. So that game. I wish I could remember things in my age. The game that is the stop motion animated co-op game.
Yep.
And I cannot for life, but I think that will get nominated for best game direction. I think it might actually win. And I've not even played it, but just from the first opening trailer that I saw of that game, everything about me went, that is going to win awards.
Well, we'll clip this and it will come back
I'll put it in next year and go, Dan was wrong.
Yeah. Well, you just have to put that suit on and say won't. Just clip it in.
I can edit it. Won't win.
Best action game, and this is one that Clair Obscur didn't win because it wasn't in there. But you had the winner was Hades 2, and it was up against Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So as a Hades man,
I've played 4 of those games. So I've played Doom Dark Ages, loved that. Would have been my runner-up all day long. Out of the others, I played the demo of Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I know you've played Shinobi, the full game. I've also played probably a couple of hours, maybe a bit more of Ninja Gaiden 4. If we're talking purely about how it's set up as an action game and how nothing made my thumbs and fingers hurt like Hades 2. In terms of how you have to position yourself, how the weapons are set up, how you have to learn different move sets for different weapon sets and different positioning and angles and specials and omegas. It's just done so well and threaded so well into the story that you just want to keep trying new techniques to find something. And then you layer on top of that the boons that you get from the gods and the power-ups and it just becomes a joy to play as an action game because you're always trying to find a different pattern, a different tactic. Ninja Gaiden 4 for me was more of a, mainly because I'm not good at learning button sequences, was more of a mashup. But it worked, but I had it on hero mode. So Shinobi was great as a side platformer. I loved it. But again, you had a relatively limited moveset, particularly in the demo. I know it probably expands from there. Doom: The Dark Ages was great, but it was a bit one note. Parry, shoot everything. Yeah. Parry, shoot everything. But brilliant all the same. It still would have been my runner-up. But yeah, I can absolutely see why Hades 2 would win. And Battlefield 6, I just think is more, like you said, that fatigue thing. I think people are bored of the same old fucking just shooting stuff.
So I'd played some of the Doom game. I played Shinobi. All I was going to add to this is, and look, and I know how much fun you've had with Hades and how well you've spoken about it. So again, it sounds like it's a worthy winner. How difficult must it be when you've got something like Battlefield 6 and Doom up against a Hades or Shinobi Art of Vengeance? It's almost like, how do you judge that? Because they're so different, aren't they?
Yeah, so different. And that's what I mean about that criteria. Yeah. That's why I think they're given a specific set of criteria about how to rate it. We're never going to know what that criteria is because I suspect ours would come out very different, or even a different set of games if we knew what the criteria they were being judged against. Yeah, I might do a bit of homework and find out how this stuff all slots together, because it'd be interesting to see how they narrow it down to their their finalists and then what the criteria they have to judge those on.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Best action adventure game. So the winner was Hollow Knight Silksong, and it was up against Death Stranding 2, GOTY, Indiana Jones and a Great Circle, and Split Fiction.
Yeah, it's interesting. What defines an action game from an action adventure game? Because I don't know. I really enjoyed Indiana Jones. Yeah. I still didn't quite finish it, but I think that was more because other stuff came out than I got bored of it. I mean, it was a great game. Yeah. Split Fiction, we've spoken about and, lavish praise on it because it is amazing. Hollow Knight is just too hard for me. Yeah. So I don't know what makes an action adventure game, if I'm fair. Yeah. And then I'll come back to you about GOTY in March. Yeah, I mean, when I've played and finished it. Again, it's just a shame as another category with Split Fiction that it didn't win. But we move on. Sorry, we go on to Best RPG. Clair Obscur was the winner. Again, it was up against some good competitions. You got Avowed, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, The Outer Worlds 2, and Monster Hunter Wilds. 2 Obsidian games in there as well, which is unusual for a category, right?
Oh, yes, Avowed. Yeah.
Yeah, Avowed and Outer Worlds. I loved Avowed. I think it was such a compact RPG that took away a lot of the frustrations that people have with RPG in terms of item management and crafting and things like that, and just really narrowed it down to the basics that made you want to keep going back for more. I thought it was a stunning game. I really enjoyed it. Finished that. Outer Worlds 2, again, I still haven't got to. I'm still about 2/3 of the way through, I think. I'm going to go back to it and finish it, though, because I think it's a great RPG, and it really is a proper get your teeth into RPG, albeit you haven't been able to. That's fair enough. I think it's a true. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can class Clair Obscur as an RPG. I struggle with it being an RPG. Okay. I know it's got the whole min-max thing, and I know it's, you can get billions of points and stuff from, different strategies that you employ, but I don't know. It's a bit light touch for me in the RPG side of things. When I think about Avowed and I think about Outer Worlds, and I think about swapping out armor and different levels and things like that, all that Clair Obscur does is stats. I say all that it does well, but it does stats or a fucking costume or haircut. And I'm like, the beach bit that we talked about is a prime example, Mr. P. I don't want to climb all that stuff and get really annoyed just to win a bathing suit. No, I know you don't have to, but it's just in a really annoying way they've done it.
Yeah.
that bit. Yeah. I'm not going to go to town on Clair Obscur, right? They're classed as an RPG. I'm not going to argue the toss. It's not RPG enough for me. In the same way that Assassin's Creed doesn't feel like an RPG to me, but maybe I'm just old school.
No, I get it. I think Clair Obscur is an RPG, but when you're up against games that are like got that traditional, like Avowed, the Outer Worlds 2, and from what I've seen, the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, they are your traditional, I guess, RPGs.
Your trad RPGs, right?
Yeah, but again, I think I'm fine with Clair Obscur on that. So,
Dan, you're going to say that. You might as well record that phrase because that's going to be on your epitaph. I'm fine with Clair Obscur winning that because it fucking won everything.
We'll move on. I think we'll skip past this one. We'll mention it, but I haven't got much to comment on best fighting game. Maybe Tim from Game Club Pod can help us out, but
I think he probably can. The one thing I am surprised in that was that Mortal Kombat, the Legacy Collection, was in there because that was a really late entry into the year, I think. So I'm surprised. I'm pleased because you've played a bunch of the stuff that the studio have done.
Yeah.
And I know you absolutely love them. So, more power to them that they were nominated.
Yes.
Didn't win. Clair Obscur won.
Fatal Split Fiction. Fatal Fury City of Wolves was the winner, and it was up against 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage.
I just fucking love fighting game names. Yeah. I just think they're so mental.
Super ultra
Fatal
extreme.
Fury City of the Wolves. What? What wolves? There's no wolves. There's no wolves here at all, mate.
It's a city of them.
Virtua Fighter 5 REVO World Stage.
Yeah. Super ultra
it's a bit like
combo.
Final Fantasy Integrate Lucasade or whatever it's called. It's like that, isn't it?
Before we upset anyone else, moving on. Best family game. So the winner, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Then you've got Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing, Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. Anything from you on that one?
Yeah. Donkey Kong Bonanza is 2-player almost in name only.
Right.
It's 2-player in the same way that Super Mario Odyssey was 2-player, where one player controlled a fucking hat. Like, it's not.
Right.
It's like if you're playing with a toddler and you're going, just give them a controller and let them press that button every so often, you'll probably be okay. The others, as I understand it, Lego Party, clues in the name, Lego Voyagers, which I desperately want to play with my kids because it's supposed to be an incredible story. Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing, Split Fiction are true either co-op or multiplayer games. So if that was out of Donkey Kong and Mario Kart World, which the two I've played along with Split Fiction, but Split Fiction I can't comment on because it's a 2-player, not a family. Mario Kart World would win all day long. I joke about not picking up the Switch 2, but me and my family have had a bunch of fun playing racing in Mario Kart and driving around the world and doing nonsense. Against Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I think the girls picked up and played with me co-op once and went, this is boring. And so I'm not sure how it won family game.
Really interesting point, actually, because again, I was looking at that, and the only one I've played is Split Fiction. I know the chaps at TCGS have really spoken highly of Lego Voyagers and said it's a great experience.
They have, yeah.
But yeah,
that's exactly why I want to play it, because I heard them talking about it.
You make a really good point, though, about family, should it be more multiplayer? I mean, for me, looking at that list, and I think the one, and not having played them, I think I can make a judgment that Split Fiction for me feels like the one that you would have a totally kind of new and collaborative experience playing, whereas the others are much more jump in, play, and like you said, with the sense of maybe Sonic Racing and Mario Kart World, probably the more involved. So again, I think it's a really tough one to maybe call, but it feels strange out of that list that Donkey Kong Bonanza won it.
I mean, I sound like I'm being really down on Donkey Kong. Like I said, I think it's a really well put together game, but I think the category for me that Donkey Kong Bonanza should have won would have been best Donkey Kong game.
Look, I think we've said, apart from the fighting game, which we don't have too much knowledge, every category is full of great games, and I think goes back to what you said. You look back at it now and think we've probably been a bit spoilt this year with the amount of great games we've had, right? And long may that continue. This is called the most anticipated game, but they probably should have called this the award that everybody knew what was going to win, and probably should have only
I still
put
don't
one
get it
thing in.
done. I still don't get it. I know people love GTA, and I've enjoyed the couple that I've played. If I'm honest, I love Red Dead Redemption so much more than I love Grand Theft Auto. I just think, I don't know whether it's the aesthetic or the story or what. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5, I didn't really click with that much. I got to a bit of a yoga and just went, fucking done with it.
So you said Yoda then, and I thought, no, Star Wars.
Grand Theft Auto it is. No, not Yoda. That'd be all right.
Now, if you're a lightsaber wielding Yoda in GTA 6, bring it on.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that for $1.
With AI, anything's possible, right?
This for me, there's only one winner with one very strong runner-up in this.
Right, so before you say it, because I think I know what you're going to say. So Grand Theft Auto 6 was the no-shock winner. You had 007 First Light, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. So I think I know your two, but talk to us.
The 007 First Light should just be called the game with all the red objects you shoot, from what I've seen. And
a ton of celebrities.
And loads of celebrities. Look, it's Gemma Chan. Well, it's Lenny Kravitz.
I was going to say, they unveiled in the same show Lenny Kravitz as the big bad. And I love Lenny Kravitz, but...
I love Lenny Kravitz, but fucking stick to singing, dude. Where's your next album? So fucking 007 First Light. Do you know what? I'll play 007. I'll have a ton of fun with it. I'm sure I will. But Christ. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto made my feelings clear. Resident Evil Requiem... I'm a little bit more interested now. I know you're playing half the time as Leon.
Yep.
And he's Grumpy Uncle. Yep. Grumpy Uncle Leon.
Yep.
I'm a bit more interested.
Yep.
So we'll see. Maybe I can buy half the game and just play the up with Leon rather than someone running away screaming all the time. But we'll see. For me, the winner would have been Marvel's Wolverine all day long, because, oh my God, after seeing that trailer, and I will put clips of that trailer up, it's so visceral, so... what Wolverine should always be. And then, and before people fucking start, I don't give a fucking rat's ass you're playing as Siri.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think she's just as good a candidate as Geralt, and I've read the books, so I know what I'm talking about. Screw you all.
Yeah. So my view is, I love you, really. My view is, I'm surprised. Way to win, fan. We're now down to 90 subscribers. The Marvel.
If it's people who don't want to subscribe because Siri's the fucking protagonist of. I'm happy with that. I'll go down 90 any day.
It's just us not insulting them.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, Merry Christmas. I'm surprised Marvel's Wolverine. No, hold on. GTA 6 was always going to win this.
Yes, it was.
But I almost
removed that from the category.
Shouldn't have been in the category, I think. Because I think it's only most anticipated, because it keeps getting, and I'm going to swear, it's the one time
should have been out.
It's going to be fucking delayed every other time. That's why it's anticipated. It should have been.
I think it should have been struck from the list because it should have been out by now.
Well, that's exactly it. It's been delayed so much. That's the only reason it's anticipated. Yeah, I don't think. Almost part of me thinks it should be in there, and so I'm surprised. I would have thought Wolverine. outside of that, I'm really excited about Resident Evil Requiem, but just because it just looks great. But yeah, The Witcher 4, I'm surprised because it hasn't had, but I do wonder if The Witcher 4 hasn't had too much hype around it at the moment. If you look at all those games, 007 First Light gets videos every show, there's something, there's always clips, this, that. Resident Evil Requiem has had a bit. Now, it's out in February, right? So I expect that. But The Witcher 4, I've not really seen much.
Well, no, they only really did, when they did the Unreal showcase, they did a showcase of Witcher 4, which looked stunning. How realistic and how close to the game. And again, we can come back to this trailers into games in another episode and do a comparative.
Yeah, I'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, it looked incredible. But I don't think you will see a lot of it. And I genuinely, where The Witcher is concerned, I trust CD Projekt Red know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because Wild Hunt was incredible.
Yeah. But, as someone who wants to play GTA 6, I don't think it needed to be in that because everybody knows all about it and it's coming out. It just keeps getting delayed. So that's unfair on everything else. Right.
Me insulting the subscribers, you saying that, Jesus. Down to 50. They're 5 if you're lucky.
Oh, so the 50 is just all my burner accounts. Right. Best adaptation.
Exploding now.
Best adaptation. The Last of Us Season 2 was the winner. A Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, Until Dawn.
I like the way you got Hollow Knight Silk Song. I think that was
missed. Do you remember I said there was one missed off earlier? I think that was it. So let's get that. It's unfortunate, Hollow Knight.
Oh, when you were moving things around. Yeah. Sorry, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have seen 3 of those.
I've not seen any. I've seen the first season of Last of Us. I haven't caught up with the second yet.
So I've seen Minecraft movie. Yeah. Kids loved it. Jack Black's in it. That's it.
Chicken jockey.
Yeah. I haven't watched Devil May Cry, although I will do, because although, once again, it's one of those games I'm absolutely terrible at, I'm never ever going to get an S rank, but I really love the aesthetic and the kind of craziness of it. So I will go and watch the Netflix, I think it's a Netflix adaptation. I totally agree. Last of Us Season 2.
Yeah.
Happy with that as a winner. I love The Last of Us. It's one of the very few video game adaptations that my wife will, and I'll be clear about this, watch and enjoy. She will humour me by watching others, but she won't enjoy them. She loves it. And it's one that, when's the next season coming out type of thing. Until Dawn I haven't seen, although I will watch it just because why not? And I've heard some okay things about it as a movie. Splinter Cell Death Watch I watched and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Okay. You see, I wasn't even aware of that, I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's a Netflix adaptation,
okay.
Anime style cartoon thing about an older Sam Fisher. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. Him and kind of a protege. That's how the story plays out. And it's really enjoyable. And I binge watched it and I really enjoyed it. Excellent. So yeah, Last of Us Season 2, definitely. Splinter Cell, Death Watch would be the runner-up for me.
Nothing from me on that because I've not seen any of them. But yeah, I see the first season.
Not seen Arcane? Have you watched? No.
So okay. Best score in music. Best score in music. We're back to Clair Obscur. So that one, it was up against Hollow Knight, Silk Song, Hades 2, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach. Daniel.
Yeah, again, I haven't played enough of Hollow Knight to know the score and the music. Hades 2 is good, but it's not Clair Obscur good. Yeah. It's very repetitive and a bit I know. I mean, there's some beautiful stuff in there. There's a bit where one of the side characters sings when you're at the crossroads and you can go and join her singing, and it's a beautiful melody and they've put some real thought into it. But that's a kind of one note, one bit. There are lovely themes throughout it. Each character has their own theme, but Clair Obscur, yeah, definitely. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing score. And I don't even like that style of music. and I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't go and buy the vinyl like you do, nerd.
I've not bought that yet. I've been so close to buying it so many times. I have got, actually, no, stay tuned hopefully for the next episode for something gaming related vinyl. Right. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully it'll have arrived for the next episode we do.
Okay.
Clair Obscur is one of the few times where I've been sort of humming the music outside of playing the game because it's stayed with me. I think, yeah, again, I'm going to use that phrase. I don't think you can have an exception with it winning. That's not to say the other games aren't great, but this is a great soundtrack, so I think it deserves to win. I'd be interested to eventually play Death Stranding 2, because I remember I loved the music that featured in the first game. It was a band, I think, called Low Roar. Yeah, the music was brilliant in that too. So again, I think we're looking at a strong field, but the theme, the orchestral music, if you watch the event, they actually performed one of the songs from Clair Obscur live.
Right.
So again, yeah, brilliant. So we move on to an award that Clair Obscur was in but didn't win.
Fucking hell.
It's best audio design.
I think it was the only one. How many did it?
So there should be 2, because I think it was nominated for 11 and won 9. So it was the most nominated
best VR game, and then realised it wasn't VR.
Most nominated game ever and most awards ever. Best audio design. So the winner, Battlefield 6 against Clair Obscur, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotai, Silent Hill F. Again, I've not played much, so I'm not going to give too much comment, but feels
no idea.
Odd.
I've only played one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess these Battlefield games, the Call of Duty, they do strive for like realism in the weapons and
yeah, I don't know what that, again, the criteria for audio design, we're not talking about score, obviously, so it's anything outside of that, I guess. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Battlefield 6 seems like a weird one, but I'm sure something like Ghost of Yotai or even Death Stranding would have been incredible in terms of that, because I know how much effort they put into those things. I have played the first Death Stranding, albeit only for a few hours, and it is, the incidentals in that are amazing.
Yeah, and look, and so I think we'll go into a couple more just in depth, and then we'll reel off the others. So the next one here is an interesting one. So best performance. So this is ultimately voice acting. So the winner was Jennifer English for Expedition 33, and
she was Miel, right?
Miel, yeah.
Miel?
Yeah. And she did a great speech. You've got Ben Starr from Expedition 33.
Who was he? Because I love Ben Starr. I think have you seen the bit he does for Balatro?
No.
Have you seen? I will put up the acceptance speech, or I'll send it to you. The acceptance speech you did for Balatro. It's hilarious. He comes dressed as a Joker.
Oh, brilliant. Really? Yeah. No. So Ben Starr is Verso in it.
Okay.
You've got Charlie Cox was in this for Expedition 33. Who was Gustav.
Yeah, Daredevil.
You've got, this is it. It was Erika Ishii for Ghost of Yotai. Then you've got Kanatsu Kato for Silent Hill F, and Troy Baker for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So I think this is a fascinating category, isn't it? Because voice acting, especially in recent years, has become such an involved
Charlie
thing.
Cox is a weird one for me. I appreciate everything the man does, and I love his Daredevil. I've loved him since he was in Stardust. I think he's a brilliant actor. I think he's great in Expedition 33, but I think this should have been put down to the category of where true voice actor is included, because had he won this, I think it would have been a travesty for those people whose career this is.
Yeah.
Right. And I appreciate he does some good stuff, but I suspect the only voiceovers he does outside of what he does is for adverts where he gets paid mega bucks to, advertise and milk or something.
And to be fair to him, whenever he's spoken to about this and his how well he's done, he's always putting the light back onto the other actors and the motion capture.
No, I think he's a genuinely lovely bloke. Yeah. But for me, Troy Baker should have won this. That man's a fucking legend. And that Indiana Jones, it wasn't just pitch perfect. It was how much effort do you have to go to be able to imitate someone so well, but not just in time, because Harrison Ford is now older. And so you can't take what he's done more recently. You have to take what you can from the older Indian, like Ark of the Covenant. And then to do that, but then there are times in Indiana Jones where he's speaking in a foreign dialect as Indiana Jones speaking in a foreign dialect. And you're like, how have you done that? That's magic. You're not just doing an accent of someone. You're doing an accent of someone doing another accent and you're still going, but that's him. That's not Troy Baker.
Yeah.
That was, for me, amazing. Phenomenal.
He was phenomenal in it. We've said it before. I think if you didn't know it was Troy Baker, you would think it's Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
You absolutely would. I do wonder, and again, you love to know what goes on in the minds of who votes for this, but because it wasn't an impersonation of someone, was it negated because of that? Because he's just impersonating Harrison Ford, basically, whereas the others are original as such. Look, Jennifer English did a brilliant job. Ben Starr did a brilliant job. He could have won it as well. But yeah, Troy Baker, I think, should get a special shout out for everything you've basically said.
My problem, we'll come to this when we do the episode. One of my problems with Expedition 33 is many of the lines that are being read out, and I think this is down to the script, not down to people, because it is a translated piece of work, very much felt like they were reading it off the script.
Okay, yeah.
It didn't flow. And when I look at something like Indiana Jones, it felt like I was watching an Indiana Jones movie done in a way, in that style where the flow of the dialogue is like a movie. And that for me, it didn't feel forced. And some of the Expedition 33 dialogue felt a little bit forced for me.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. Let's move on to innovation and accessibility. Now, I didn't see why these were, and there were a batch of awards that were just reeled off on the show.
Right.
But this was Doom the Dark Ages was the winner, and that was against Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, EA Sports FC 26, and South of Midnight. So again, without knowing the exact reason for, I think we'll move on. But
I think it's just because you can make the parry window really big. I think that's probably why it was accessible. So it's accessible for Dan.
But I think also, you know, you do often see sort of still the innovations in gaming for accessibility, and again, all for that, and long may that continue.
Atomfall took the opposite route for their accessibility. They made it so fucking hard that no one wanted to play it, so therefore didn't need the accessibility. So it was fine. It was accessible for no one. I think died so much in that game.
I think another category that was sort of quickly skipped over in there was games for impact,
and that's a shame because there's a cracker in there. Yeah,
you got South of Midnight, which I'm not going to say too much about now, but you got South of Midnight was the winner. You've then got Consume Me. You've got Despeloti, which I'd played. You got Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which I'd also played, and Wonderstop. And I think this was about games that were trying to tell a story or put a point across from something. So again, South of Midnight, we've spoken on here. I've loved that game.
Go and fucking play it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
And
love it.
And to be honest, for me, that could have also been, or should have been, in one of the music or audio ones.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, 100%. You know, the audio on that, the soundtrack on that was amazing as well.
I remember saying on our episode where we discussed it that it was one of the few games that I wanted to seek out the soundtrack on Spotify to listen to. So then we had Best Ongoing Game. So No Man's Sky is the winner. That was against Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals. Anything from you on that?
No, I'm just pleased to see No Man's Sky won it, because I started playing that when it first came out and I went back to it. I've gone back to it every couple of years to see, and it's changed so much. But the love and passion that's been poured into that project is incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased to see it won. And the only other one I'd have voted for is Helldivers 2, because it's fucking mad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because that's fairly newish off the block, I think, compared to some of the others. So it'll be interesting to see that. But yeah, No Man's Sky, that's a great story in itself, isn't it? So, right. On our list, I'm going to skip forward a couple because I want to talk about those, and then we'll reel through the others. I'm just looking at time. So, best indie game.
People love a long game show, mate, a game award show. It's fine. You'll be fine, mate. It's just the poor bastard who's got to edit it all. Don't worry about that. Good job he's got Friday off work, isn't it?
Best indie game. This is one that's caused discussion, right? So Clair Obscur was the winner against Absalom, Ball Pit or Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. Thoughts?
I don't even know where to go with this. I genuinely don't. Whether it's because it feels like a studio game, or whether it's, and we've spoken about this on our show before, how you define an indie game. I don't think Clair Obscur is an indie game. I don't know why. I can't quite put it into words, but I don't. Maybe it's just a feeling. But you take a game like Ball Pit or Blueprints, and I'm not even sure Hades 2 feels like an indie game. I know Hades was, but Hades 2 now feels like it's got some bucks behind it. You know, take Clair Obscur and Hades 2 out of that. I'd have a tough choice, but I think I'd go for Blueprints. I think, you know, as a game, a true independent game. And I've played I've played all these games. I've played every single one of these games.
Yeah. I mean, I've played Blueprints, not to completion. I've played Ball Pit. I agree with you. I think if we were probably looking at the definition of it, they probably do fall into, it probably does fall into an indie game, Clair Obscur. But I think it's a bad look in the sense, you know, they had it's all created by a team who've come from massive teams elsewhere. I think it's got funding. I think it got a lot of money in funding. I think that for me is the thing.
You can see it on the screen, right?
Yeah.
It's not a...
I mean, it's going to be more of a point in the best debut indie game, which we'll come on to. So I think the fact it had funding for me and millions we're talking about. I've seen some people say it shouldn't have won because it's got a publisher. Well, I don't think that's as relevant anymore because I think Ballatrol, which won a couple of years ago.
It was close.
Yeah. And a game that won recently as well, last year's indie game, I can't remember. They've got publishers as well. I think people are saying it's hard nowadays maybe not to go through a publisher, but I just think look at the money in it.
But possible, like Megabonk.
Yeah,
there's games out there that are doing it, mate.
I just feel, and I know people say you can't make rules up as you go along, but I just feel like this would have been a chance for one of the other games, or should have been a chance, sorry, for the other ones. I don't necessarily think Clair Obscur should have won Best Indie Game. And more so, because we can merge it into the next one, you've got Best Debut Indie Game. Clair Obscur won it.
It's kicking the nuts for those games that are on those lists.
Because you've got Blueprints, Despelote and Dispatch. And all I will say before you sort of come in is, like, you look at Despelote, I think it was done by two people. You know, they've made a game about growing up in, I think it was Peru. And it's not going to be a game for everyone, but it's a lovingly crafted game telling a story of like politics and life through kid trying to play football and, I think it was Ecuador, and then qualifying for the World Cup or trying to. You put in Despelote against Clair Obscur.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad. I don't get it. Look, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Clair Obscur because, I'm enjoying it as a game. If you put, as a litmus test, if you put those games in front of someone who had no idea what an independent game was or a studio game, and you said, which one of these you think is an indie, just using the word, they'd go, well, it's definitely Despelote. It's definitely Blueprints. Even Dispatch, I think you'd struggle to go, is that an indie game?
Yeah, I get what you say about Dispatch in that, it had a couple of big names in there. So like Aaron Paul, that's it. And it just feels really rough that this could be or should be categories for those real fledgling or real small companies to get the spotlight put on them. And look, they've been nominated, right? So there's spotlight. We're talking about it, but yeah, it feels a bit rough.
I do think the downside of those is you then go, what fucking chance have I got when Charlie Cox's doing a voiceover?
Yeah.
Or Aaron Paul's doing a voiceover. When they're pulling in these types of stars to do, I've got fucking daredevils working on the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does feel rough. It does feel rough.
Or Jesse Pinkman's not. I don't know. It's frustrating.
It must also be difficult, I'm going to assume, for the studio and those involved in like Clair Obscur, because, to go against like a team of two that have had to do everything themselves, it must be difficult. Like I said, it doesn't mean that we should.
I don't know why you needed to shoehorn them in either.
Yeah, then it's not like they're not in enough.
Why shove Clair Obscur and Dispatch? And I'm not taking away anything from either of those games. Dispatch is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But why do you need to shoehorn them in there?
Yeah.
And why not pick something that could easily have gone into and slotted into that list?
Like Dispatch probably could have gone in best direction or best like graphic, like the graphics or art
voiceover.
What voice it is.
The voices in that thing are insane.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, but
like I said, I didn't think Aaron Paul could act until I saw that. Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah,
I know you watched.
But I get why some people have criticised that. So look, for the remaining ones, I'll blitz through it. If there's anything you want to say, but look, we've got best community support. The winner was Baldur's Gate 3. Yep,
agreed. Totally agree with that as a winner.
The best mobile game was
just quickly on Larian Studios. Apparently, the way they're using generative AI, the entire company agrees with the direction.
Oh, really?
And they have admitted they're starting using it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was an interesting spin from them earlier today. I was like, really? That's where you're going with this? Okay. We all agree it's fine.
Okay, something to come back to then, I think. Yeah. Best mobile game, Umamusume Pretty Derby was the winner for that.
You can have a chat with Tim about that one.
Yeah. Best VR AR game, The Midnight Walk. Marvel's Deadpool was in there, but I wonder if it came out too late.
Well, there's another one on there that I am desperate to play. It's just come out on the PSVR 2, actually, but I think I'm still going to get it on the Meta where it originally launched, and that was Ghost Town.
Okay.
It's supposed to be brilliant. It's supposed to be genuinely brilliant story told in VR. So I think I'll pick those. And I might even pick up Midnight Walk, which is also can be played without VR, by the way, and it's also on sale on Steam.
Okay, there you go. Look at that. Steam, if you want to be a sponsor. Best sim/strategy game was Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evilist Chronicles. Best sports racing, Mario Kart World. And I chuckled because that was up against like EA Sports, F1 25. Rematch was in there. I will cover the rematch after. Best multiplayer was Ark Raiders. Surprised Helldivers. Mind you, I guess Helldivers is 4-player co-op, but then Elden Ring, Night Rain.
Ark Raiders is 3-player.
And Split Fiction is 2. So yeah, I'm surprised Split Fiction could have maybe won that. But yeah, best multiplayer was Ark Raiders. Content.
I'm desperate to play that. I might even just buy it.
Yeah, go for it. Give us a review. Content Creator of the Year was Moist Critical. He was in Dispatch, wasn't he? I can't remember. He was Sonar, I think, wasn't he?
Was he Sonar, was it?
Believe so. Best esports game, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike 2?
I've no problems with that.
No,
Welcome
I'm
back,
just
Counter-Strike.
surprised it's still there. Going. Best esports athlete. Chovy, best esports team, Team Vitality.
I have a fucking real problem with calling them athletes. I'm sorry.
I was trying to not get you move on and not get to not get you worked up. No, go.
Let's carry on.
No, go.
No, I'm not going to rant. No, go on.
Best esports team, Team Vitality, Counter-Strike 2. And
an athletics team.
And the last one, Player's Voice. This was another one that Expedition 33 was in, but didn't win. This was won by a game called Wuthering Waves. So, yeah.
Heard of it.
Those were your...
An indie.
Yeah, those were your awards. People, what we decided to then do, I put to Dan that we should pick our games of the year. So it had to be, obviously, games that came out this year, games we either completed, or if they weren't games that technically have like a proper completion that you put a relevant amount of time in, that would depend on the game. And yeah, we will pick 5 each and a wild card. And the wild card is a game we've played this year that didn't come out this year. So, Dan, take us through yours first.
Okay. So my list, and I've put the one up on the page that is incorrect because I've realised I changed it and I've found my new list. Actually, 4 of them remained exactly the same up until about 2 weeks ago. So top of my pile is Blueprints. It's a game I got absolutely addicted to for no reason. And I think what you'll find with these, a lot of these games are not games I would normally play and become addicted to. Blueprints in particular, never been real puzzle heavy, kind of going in and solving things. I got absolutely addicted to this to the point where I ended up I bought a backbone for my phone so I could go away and play it on Xbox while I was away on holiday with the family while we were trapped in a hotel. Not like The Shining. It was like we were in York, but in the evenings we can go out because of the kids. And so it's a phenomenal piece of work. It's beautiful. It's so well done. I played it through to completion as much as completion because it's layers upon layers of stories and secrets. It's so meticulously put together. If you haven't played it, even if you don't like puzzlers, trust me, go and play it. It's brilliant. I'm not going to bore people with my second one, which is Hades 2. I've talked about it so often on this show. People are sick of it, but I've finished it. And I think I'm in a position now to be able to say, without a shadow of a doubt, a game of the year for me. I think I put 5. I think I've done the same as you. I think I put 5. Yeah. I don't know if I could choose a winner out of any of these. The next one's, and I hope you listen, David, Keeper.
Yeah, David.
I loved Keeper. I genuinely loved Keeper, and I love a lot of the stuff that Double Fine do. Psychonauts, to this day, will always be one of my favourite games. But Keeper was just a story told in such a beautiful way and such an emotive way. And the artistry that went into creating the scenery and you talk about Clair Obscur, every image being like a painting on a page. This was, and the way they changed up those scenes and the way the story was told of this essentially a lighthouse that becomes something other than a lighthouse and evolves. And for me, it was a story of movement.
Yes.
And you can see the evolution of movement from the beginning when you're staggering around right through to the end where I won't spoil what happens. But it was just this beautiful story of movement and done in such an intuitive way. I loved it and I thought it was a fantastic game. And next one for me is Ball Pit. I know you didn't get as into this as I did, but I got swallowed by this like a fucking black hole. I got caught on its event horizon and I could not crawl my way out for weeks. And I don't even know how many hours I put into this thing. I've seen I haven't seen credits, but I've completed it with, I think, about 8 of the 18 characters or wherever many it's got. So I'm kind of nearly halfway through, and I think to see credits, you have to like complete all of it with everyone. It's mad. It's a brilliant little puzzler. It's again, not a game I'd ever traditionally pick up. Always does normally drive me absolutely insane, but I got hooked and I couldn't get out. And the final one, which isn't the one which is on here, which changed about 2 weeks ago, is the one we've just spoken about, which is Dispatch.
Okay.
Because that game is fucking brilliant. And again, I think I said before, out of the Telltale games, I did play Walking Dead because everyone was into The Walking Dead, but the one I really got hooked on and played a lot of was Batman. This for me was, and it's nothing to do with superheroes or anything, it was just the way that story was told and the way it was created. And it was almost similar to Invincible, but so different in many ways that it could stand head and shoulders away from it. Yeah. I won't say above it because Invincible's fucking brilliant comic, but it could stand on its own and be something different. And even the characters they created, although they're archetypes of superheroes, they were done so well that they stood out on their own. Blonde Blazer was brilliant, you know, although she's a Wonder Woman archetype, she was great as a character and very cleverly done and written, and every single voice acting and every single emotion that was put on that screen was genuine and thoughtful and brilliant.
The voice acting, I just need to jump in and say, because sort of like some of the tenderness between some of the characters and some of the emotion, it was evident, wasn't it? You know, or it made you believe it. And so as a game,
and the little eye rolls or the little, nods and notices, it was so well done. And one of my favourite characters was only in it for a couple of seconds, and that's the Sikh guy, I can't remember his name, who's the other guy who's monitoring the people, and he's got the Sikh hearing. Yes. And he pops up in every sort of in the scene. And there's a bit where you bro fist Royd, and he just stands there with his fist out and nothing happens. He's like, oh.
It's a great game.
It's a great game. Just so well done. And that I cannot get that bar fight scene and the way they've mashed that up out of my head. It's phenomenal. If you're not going to play the game, just go and watch that scene on YouTube because it's just brilliant. And the song that Flambe's singing and that you've talked about is just all brilliant. And that actually pipped Doom Dark Ages out for me as one of my top 5.
I would actually say, just to back up what you said, watch a video of Dispatch on YouTube, because we've said you could watch it as a cartoon.
You can.
It's not going to be interrupted by tons of gameplay. There is an element of like the Dispatch bit, but it's a great game. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
And what's your wild card? What's your wild card? So the game that didn't come out this year, but
the game that didn't come out this year that I finally played this year, and again was a bit of a black hole for me, and again I'd call it a roguelike because of the way I think you have to build what you do, and that was Dredge.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle-like roguelike. I think it's just such a thoughtful game, and I wasn't expecting an eldritch fishing simulator to be on my list of top games. And I fucking loved it, and I bought the DLC. I really did. I just went down a proper rabbit hole on it, and I loved it. I thought it was, and look, we'll talk about this in next week's episode, I think, because I'll leave it there, because otherwise I'll start, getting all emotional about, everything that this podcast has done for me, and because I think that you can tell from the games I played and the amount I've gone through that this has opened a whole new world for me. So. Yeah, Dredge was phenomenal. I would have put Moonlighter 2 on there, but it's not fair because it's in early access, and I think that might come in next year.
Okay. Well, a great set of games there. And before I go into mine, I will just say, I should have said it before you've done yours as well, is that before people say anything, these aren't games we think should have been Game of the Year. These are our Game of the Years. And
these are ours.
Yeah, and a chance for us to say some of the things we enjoyed, whether they would even touch an awards ceremony is out the question. Yeah. This is for us. Totally. And I love all of yours. Yeah. Mine, I debated whether I wanted to put this on the list, but I felt I had to because I had such a great time with it. It is.
I don't think anyone's spoken enough about it, though. I think it's one that really does need highlighting, Dan.
I think
when you tell people.
Yeah, it's a shame because it only won the 9 awards. I think it needs a bit more love, but it was Clair Obscur. Mainly because it was a game for me. The story stayed with me. I had so much fun playing it. The music, it's just my game, my sort of game, and I thought, do I leave it off? But I would have been leaving it off just for the sake of not picking it. So no, it's on there.
It's a silly reason not to put it on there because if you loved it, you loved it, right? There's no reason not to have it.
So, Expedition 33 is on there for me. The second one, this one is, so it came out this year on the consoles. It's been out before earlier on the PC, but it's only came out this year. So a bit of a, loophole there, but it's American Arcadia. I've spoken about it on a What We've Been Playing before. So it's a great little mashup of two game styles. There's a first person, almost investigative part to it. And then you've got a side on platform escape game. And it's just, again, the voice acting is quite good. There's a really interesting story, and you're playing a guy who's trying to escape from like a TV show. And again, kind of like the relationship you've got with the person who's helping you to escape is just a great sort of part of the game. So yeah, American Arcadia, I really enjoyed playing that. One that is a fairly recent-ish game, I think it is, Echoes of the End. So I know it's one you've recently picked up.
I have finished, yeah. Yeah, I've finished Echoes.
Just for everything we've said, that it was a game I didn't know much about, picked it up. I think it looks good. I think it sounds good. And it plays well. It's just a solid game. And yeah.
It was a great AA title. I think it was trying very hard to be a God of War game. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're going to imitate someone, go for the best, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the combat was solid. Yeah. It was a good game. I enjoyed the story. I liked the world they created as well. I thought, it was a great game. It wouldn't be on my list, but for all the reasons I said the other ones. But yeah, I still think it was a solid game.
Yeah, yeah. Next game on my list, South of Midnight. I think this is a great game. Look, I've seen criticism that the combat gets a bit weak and repetitive, and there is something in that, but it shouldn't take away that the story is great. The music is astonishing, and even the art style is great. And it was another game. It was a game that had me, I couldn't wait to have my next session with it, basically.
Yeah.
And
I know when I'm playing a game that looks good, when my missus stops and watches it and stands there and won't move and is like, is that like animated? So I agree. South Midnight again played it. Yeah, and the only thing that let it down for me, and the reason it wasn't on the list, is that final fucking level.
Okay.
Because, and I don't think it's a spoiler to say at the end, it really kind of trails off. You're expecting something big, and you kind of get there, and it's like a conversation. You're like, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
I thought it was, and that's the only thing that let it down for me. Other than that, everything you said about it, phenomenal game. I love South Midnight.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. The final one on my list is Heading Out. Now, again, we've discussed this briefly. It's a weird, I couldn't describe it, but I think I found something. It was like a roguelike driving sim, choose your own adventure type game.
Yeah.
Now, I've technically, air quotes, completed it. There's so many routes you can take, and there's so many stories I've probably not seen, but I just found it a bizarre mashup of genres. It looked like Sin City, and some of those storylines you come across are really random, and it's a game that hooked me that probably wouldn't have done before, but it just got me at the right time, and I just found the style of it really good. So yeah, that's it. Heading Out is my last one. Couple of just honorary mentions. I think Split Fiction, but mainly because of the fun I had with you, and Rematch, just because again it's a great game if you've got a few people playing. I had a lot of fun with that, but they didn't make my list. My wild card is a random one. It's the first game I played on the Steam Deck when I got it. Thank goodness you're here. Just such a bizarre, it's a game that had me laughing out loud when I was playing it.
You bought this for me, didn't you? Yeah. And I played it. It feels like it was produced by the Yorkshire Tourist Board, but it is brilliant. It's a Monty Python-esque bunch of fun. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't finished it yet, but it's mad. Yeah. It's mad. Yeah. In the best way.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, those are our games of the year, and I think there are 10, well, if we do the wild cards, but the 10 we picked are real solid, I think. And again...
Yeah, and they're all very different, all very... I was worried my list was going to end up being very roguelike, and I guess you could describe Blueprints, Hades 2 and Ball Pit, but all in very different types of ways are they roguelike. You know, Hades 2 is a true roguelike. Blueprints is more of a puzzle game with rogue elements, I guess, and Ball Pit is a true kind of... Oh my God, I don't even want to know how to describe it. But there were a bunch. Absalom could have easily have made that list. Another game I just powered through and finished and went through, got the true ending of it because I was just like, I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, there were a bunch of things that could have gone on here, but I really struggled to narrow it down this year. It's been such an amazing year for games, and I'm so pleased it's been this year that we chose to start and do this as well, because, shining a light on some of these amazing things that other people might not want to play or have played, because they're not on a list and they're not Clair Obscura.
Yeah.
Obscure. Yeah.
So all I say if you're watching us on YouTube, listening on Spotify, or got access to social media, let us know what your top 5 are, because just between us, we picked some different ones that were in the official ones. So I'd love to know what people's games of the year was. So I'm just looking, there was obviously in the main Game of the Year awards, there was some announcements. Do you want to do these? I mean, I know
I wonder if you just want to pick a couple that stood out for you, because I've certainly got, I think, 2 that stood out for me.
You pick yours. You go for yours, and if I'll pick the ones that you don't mention.
Works for me. So one game that definitely stood out for me, I love the fucking studio. I love all their previous games. They haven't had a bad game yet for me. And one that I cannot wait to get my hands on is Control Resonant.
Oh, that did look good. That did look good.
I loved Control. I loved everything about that game. I loved Jesse Faden. I loved the oldest house. I loved everything they did, how they said it. I loved the fucking janitor. The whole thing just hung together so beautifully, and it was such a great idea. And then go, do you know what? Fuck it. Let's put it in the same universe as Alan Wake.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in love with that game, and I've completed Control twice. I'm like a quarter of the way through another third run on the PlayStation because it was out on there. It's an awesome game, and to then go back and be surprised by Jesse's now gone rogue, and you're playing as a brother who's come out of the coma, and I'm just like, and then seeing the weapons and the combat, and I'm just like, it just gets better and better,
and that psychedelic hotel level in that. Yeah, in the original.
Like I said,
Control.
Remedy have yet to let me down with a game.
Yeah.
And I, even all the way back from, Max Payne and stuff like that. Yeah. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play that game. So that, for me.
They did make it look good. The trailer as well was good.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looked brilliant. And then you had, throwing all the Inception-like stuff with the folding buildings and the pigeon going bonkers, and wow. It just looked wow. Yeah, I cannot wait for that.
What's your next one?
It's not a game.
Okay.
It's the trailer for the Street Fighter movie.
Okay, I'm glad you said it, because I would have been
because they have done, I was really, when I saw the cast for this, I was like, nah, this just isn't going to work, man. I just, I can't get past the Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie of it all. So they announced this cast. It's got lots of funny, brilliant people in it, don't doubt, and then some wrestlers. And I then saw the trailer and saw what they're actually trying to do with it. And if you haven't watched it, please do go and watch it. I'll put some clips up here, but please go and watch the trailer, because it's done in such a cheesy, specific, old school, badly dubbed Chinese kung fu early 70s movie. And it's not any of those things, but I can't describe it in any other way. And when you watch it, you just go, it's so bad it's got to work. It just has to work.
Well,
and
sorry, I always say, because we discussed this on a walk, it's almost like, rather than say, I think it's bad, it's almost like they know what they're doing. They know it's not a serious film, and they're really having fun with it. If I'm wrong, then it's just a terrible looking film. But
and then at the end, they're beating up a car down.
Yeah.
One of the best bonus stages in any video game ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how have you managed to cram that in? So yeah, and all the characters look like they should do. They haven't tried to do, anything like, have Jean-Claude Van Damme do the splits instead of having a high top. So oh my God, the characters just look spot on.
Do you know what we should do?
And it's mad.
I might break my I don't like going to the cinema rule. We should go to the cinema when this comes out.
Oh, we are so going to cinema to see that movie. So good. Even after I drag you along. It looks incredible.
And
so yeah, I'm very looking forward to that.
Cody Rhodes, who plays Guile, his haircut in the game is also
It's so mad, but it's brilliantly mad.
Yeah, I agree with you. This looks like it. Again, I like using that word. It looks like it could be fun, And the cast, they brought all the cast out in the show and they looked like they were having fun. They looked like they were enjoying it. Literally, it was almost like the whole cast. And I think it was Jason Momoa was having a dig at the Mortal Kombat film.
Didn't he say, we haven't got enough people, let's bring out the cast of the Mortal Kombat film?
Yeah.
And then went on, they don't care about you.
That's it. He said, they don't care about you, they only care about money. And one of the other actors would say, no, that's not true. That's not true.
Jason Momoa, you naughty boy.
Yeah. No, again, were there you two, was there any other thing that stood out for you want to say?
I'm very interested in Exodus, I have to say, and more so now I've read a little bit more about that. So this is a new gig from the guys who were, I think they used to be part of the Mass Effect studios, or some of them did. I think they were ex-Mass Effect designers and producers, because it's got a very Mass Effect type feel to it. And it's got, it's got our favourite friend, Matthew McConaughey, voicing one of the characters. But what piqued my interest post the look at it, because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's a bit Mass Effect, isn't it? Apparently, it's all about time dilation. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who have seen Interstellar, the movie, which is, again, has an element of time dilation. So this is the theory that when you travel faster than the speed of light, time will occur differently. Mm. So in this, you basically go on missions called an Exodus to collect artifacts of technology to further the human race, or whatever the race is. But obviously, as you're away, or you might have seen Buzz Lightyear. If you've seen Buzz Lightyear, it's the same thing, right? Let's not go too highbrow. Let's go lowbrow. If you've seen Buzz Lightyear, you go away, and the relationships you form with people will differ because they'll have aged, and they age in generations, be it 30 years, 60 years, and even sometimes 100 years, and they'll have had children. You'll have had children. I'm just fascinated how they're going to explore that. And I do trust the guys who've created something as brilliant as the Mass Effect series. I know it's not on Game of the Year award list for you, Dave. I'm sorry.
Look, everything you picked is great, and I would have been on my list. Just a couple of things. Quick one. Divinity, we saw the new trailer from that, and I
fucking went in hard,
texted you, didn't I? And I said, God, that Divinity trailer goes hard, doesn't it? You said, I haven't watched that yet, hold on. And then you came back and said, yep, agreed. My God.
Holy shit.
That needed an 18 rating, and I think, it needed lots of warning. But it's a great looking trailer. It's obviously not gameplay, I don't think. But,
well, not unless you're playing as a lot of blood.
Yeah, but my word, for a game war show, that was a bizarre trailer, wasn't it? In a good way.
That was hardcore. It was a great trailer. Yeah. It was a great trailer, but it's very hardcore. Yeah. I think they made some comments today about they weren't trying to shock, and I was like, well, that's not you trying to shock. What the fuck are you doing?
The game.
Good job, Larry. I don't know how much AI was in it, but anyway.
My picks are going to be, and it's following on from last week's episode, really. It's quite ironic timing. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. So it's basically it's a new single player game set in the Star Wars Old Republic universe, and I think the director Casey Hudson has said he's not getting any younger, which is why he's making it. So you're not
going to have to wait around until 2030, because people were worried that he was like, no, it's not, because I'm not getting any younger. And again, Mass Effect, you've got great pedigree in there. Single player action RPG, and in Star Wars, with lightsabers.
Yeah. And I mentioned last week's episode, if you hadn't listened to it, go back, listen. But I said that a game I want to see remake or another installment was Knights of the Old Republic. So that's good for me. And I'm going to link two together. Again, we would talk about remakes, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis and Tomb Raider Catalyst. Now, for me, I love the Tomb Raider games. And I think it's mainly because, well, one of the reasons they're great games, but as an Xbox owner, I've never really had like your God of War, your Uncharted, etc. So they were almost like the similar thing. But I think looking back at our conversation about what games would make good remake, I think the original Tomb Raider, which is what Legacy of Atlantis, I think is a prime candidate for a great shout for doing it.
Yeah, it's really, and I like the juxtaposition you got of the two, because obviously Catalyst is set after Shadow, Legend, and Rise. So that's interesting in itself, that it's the continuation of that story. And then you've got the Legacy of Atlantis, which is the original game being remade and upgraded for now. Yeah. So you've got this lovely juxtaposition of all the games, that you kind of have, and you're not losing that element of, because you've seen studios in the past create a great game series and then go, oh, we're not going to come up with a new one. We'll just go and remaster an old one. And so you lose out on that continuation story. So the fact they're doing this as well is great. And the fact it's come from Amazon, wait and see. Yeah. But I did like the look of it.
Yeah.
I must admit.
And I think
albeit you didn't see much gameplay.
No.
You saw a little bit of Catalyst, I think.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
The thing. Yeah.
With Atlantis, you saw some of the set pieces. You saw like the dinosaur, you saw her diving into the water. If they can pull this off, this could be one of the games because I think it's such a great shout. Didn't see Driver, but we can wait for next year. So if there are a lot more announcements, look, go have a look. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think that's us done this week, Dan.
I think that's probably the longest episode, but it is a bumper episode.
Yeah.
And with edits, it will come down to at least 2 hours, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
and with the couple of retakes we did of our intro, look, and you know, it's Christmas. You're listening to this over Christmas. You're going to be sleeping or not moving on the couch.
Full of turkey.
Yeah. So,
or nut roast.
Listen to this and tell everyone else to listen to this. So, yeah, Dan, any words from you before we close out?
No, I fucking love gaming views.
So do I. Look, Merry Christmas all. See us next week, or catch us next week. We're going to have a kind of special little episode next week, aren't we? They're all special.
Oh, you tell me. You're
Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll let you know later, Dan. That is. But yeah, look. I hope you enjoyed this. Games of the year, our games of the year. Whatever you think, games are, as Dan said, bloody brilliant. Enjoy what you're playing and let us know what you have enjoyed playing. Other than that, see you next week for another episode of Gaming Views.